All right, the Neilah drush I remember a little bit better. It wasn't as good, but it was something. Although, I don't know. I heard different reviews about my other drushes. So Neilah, that's the one time of the year we pray 5 times. And by Neilah, we ask, open for us the gate at the time of the closing of the gate. And one thing I forgot to mention by my other video by Musaf, I said by Musaf, by Yizker, was that we're here to remember those who passed on and to be unified with those passed on, but also the holy martyrs. And I was thinking about Hirsch Goldberg. I remember as a little boy in Richmond, Virginia, singing in the choir on Hanukkah in Rutland Torah Academy, a holy martyr, that his picture at the pizza shop near us owned by Aid, it's not a kosher place, doesn't matter, he had there a picture of Hirsch, bring him home, and he took it down because he was murdered. And he should be a Melech Yosher for us and all Klal Yisrael. How did he be zeichen to be together with Rabbi Akiva and the Sorry Harugei Malchus? We'll talk a little bit about that in too. But back to Neilah. So by Neilah we say, open for us the gate at the time of the closing of the gate. And I remember when I was a child, I had to write a book report for school, and it was before we had the internet so ubiquitously. So I had to go to the library, get a book, and it was closing time. The librarian was very nice, and she opened up the library. And my mother explained to me, as a child, you have to have gratitude. You have to say thank you to the librarian because she stayed late, so you could get your book for your book report. It was a big lesson. And then I said thank you to everybody who made our minyan. Some people traveled very far. And then I went, and so that's this idea of opening up and something I was thinking about all throughout my life, this idea of that librarian opening up the gate at the time of the closing of the gates. So anyway, I said over 2 things, not my own. One is a parable Rabbi Fishbein always likes to tell. That's from Rav Shlomo Freifeld. So Rabbi Fishbein, L'Badal Chaim Tovim, Shlita, and what he heard from Rav Shlomo Freifeld's Chayim Avracho, he used to daven in our Bis Medrash once in a while, Rav Shlomo. And Rav Shlomo Freifeld, he told the following story. I don't know if it's a true story or just a parable. I heard Rabbi Weinberger tell this as well. So there was a fellow in Texas named George, and he was a wealthy person, and a big braggart, always liked to boast. This was back in the 50s, and the subject came as he's playing cards with his buddies there, that there's a play on Broadway called South Pacific. And it's totally sold out. Nobody can get a ticket to South Pacific. And George said, leave it up to me. I could get a ticket to South Pacific. They said, what are you talking about? Nobody could get a ticket to South Pacific. So he discussed with his wife. They said, all right. She said, all right, let's go fly from Texas up to New York. We'll go to Broadway and we'll get a ticket and we'll go see South Pacific. They had a fancy hotel for a few days. Whatever they tried, a few days in a row, they could not get a ticket to South Pacific. And it was the last night. The next morning was their flight. What are we going to do? So his wife came up with an idea. when people are leaving after the show, they don't need the ticket stubs. Ask someone as they're leaving, give me the ticket stubs, and then when we get back to Texas, we'll show the ticket stubs. Here, we got the tickets. It wasn't that difficult. Second or third couple came out, gave them the ticket stubs. What do we need them for? And so they had what they needed. And they next morning they got on their flight, went back to Texas, and they were like, "So George, did you get to see South Pacific?" He said, "Here's the tickets, the stubs." But the way that Rabbi Freifeld said it over, Rabbi Fishbane likes to say it over, focus inside. They had the tickets, but they missed the show. And so many of us, we have the tickets, but we miss the show. Or we sell for something cheap. And then I said, we say, give honor to thy people, praise to those who fear you, and good hope for those who seek you. There's so many seekers in the world, seeking something, and they are looking for the truth, and they're failing to find it. Even though God says, Navi Malachi, Prophet Malachi, that God accepts the ignorant prayers and offerings of every religion, because they don't know any better, but still, we have the truth, and we should be proud of that. And ultimately, goes like this. There's a famous song that Rabbi Yitzchak and Sarah Sasha attributed to him. He approached God before Neilah, and he said, "I want to make a trade." We talked about it once on our podcast. And he said, "I want to trade my sins, iniquities, and transgressions." And if you ask what I should trade, what I want to trade them for, I want forgiveness, atonement, and pardon. And if you ask whether that's a fair trade, I say no. I also want children and prosperity and life. You ask what is children for? Children and grandchildren studying Torah and mitzvahs and doing mitzvahs. And what is prosperity for? It's food. You should eat, be satisfied, and bless the Lord thy God. But what is life? Life is to thank you and praise you. All throughout the Torah it says, speak unto the children of Israel, say unto the children of Israel, command the children of Israel. Why only the children of Israel? It must be because they're the children of God. And how many nations are there in the world? Persians and English and Romans. And the Persians say that their God is a God, but we say no. And the Romans say that their God is a God, and we say no. And the apostates and the heretics and the atheists say that there, God forbid, there is no God, and we say yes, there's a God. And they said, but yes, God. I thank you for watching. God bless. please like, share, and subscribe, comment. We'll see you all later. All right, have a good listening off. Have a good Mark Tov, everybody. We love you.